Welcome to my designer class. My name is Mercy and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. In today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how I made this ribbon sampler. Now, it was not very hard and you might even have some of the supplies right on hand and you don't even know it. So to start with, I did create a template and I wrote down some of the things I did here. I used the backing for the DSP, which you might have already, and I used the tailored punch just to help me create these notches, but that really isn't completely necessary. However, it was helpful. So I will bring in my backing for the DSP. So here is a whole 12 by 12 sheet. I do need to move this aside. And I will bring in my large guillotine style paper cutter. This is an old paper cutter that Stampin' Up! Used to have, and I absolutely love it, and I still use it a lot. So this is going to be cut at 6 inches. So I'm just going to go down like that and set this side aside for now, and I'll start cutting. I did 2 5/8. It just kind of worked out that way when I was making my template, how I had to keep adjusting. So originally it was going to be a little bigger, a little wider. Anyhow, so that's as simple as it gets with how to cut up the cardstock. Nothing too complicated. What inspired me with this project is I wanted to create a ribbon sampler, but I didn't even know how to start. And then I thought about it. I had this baker's twine before I became a demonstrator, and I looked at this board and I thought, I could do that. And I thought, wow, that looks a little bit like the tailored punch right here. I looked at my punches and sure enough, it's very close. But when I was making the original, my first attempt at this, I kind of messed up a lot. And so I realized I had to cut evenly and I had to fold over because the tailored punch, you can't just get in here because it would be like this because it catches. So there are a few like downsides, but if I punched and then I scored, I'll show you my next one. I realized I needed to score down the center to get it exactly either side. So it's not too difficult to make a template. I do kind of make adjustments as I make the sampler page. So I'll show you how I did that. All right, so I'm going to set the punch aside for now and go ahead, bring in my card, my base from the DSP, and I will go ahead and line this up. Now, what I realized after I created this template is ribbon is sometimes bigger, wider, like 1/2 inch, and these are good for maybe no more than, I would say, 3/8. So if you have a 1/2 inch, it's way too small. So what I thought is, why not just make a little adjustments as I go? So if I pulled this up a little bit, I could, add a little bit more. So I just do like, so. And then I slide it down. Here we go. And I can create it a little bit bigger. So you can see how that would work. And then I just go down the line here. This doesn't have to be extremely straight anything, because actually once you get the ribbon on, it will cover up a lot of any imperfections you have. So again, having the tailored punch did make it a little easier, but it would not be absolutely essential to do one of these boards, if you will. I don't know exactly what they would be called. A card-based board, ribbon-based board, I don't know. So I hope you like this idea, and I'll continue to show you how I did this. So the top ones, you can definitely use the tailored punch, the top and bottom. So I just will get in here. Oh, I probably would help if I opened my punch. Okay, so punch that, and then you can go again a little further down, and there you have that one. Now the left side is a little trickier, providing you're right-handed like I am. So I just get in and punch, and then I just repeat a little bit right there. So Same thing over this side. I punch, and let's see if I can get this lined up a little better. It's hard to do stuff like this on camera. Okay, I'm getting it slowly, and punch. So this side is actually a lot easier, at least for me, because I'm right-handed, as I was saying. So punch, and then line it up, and punch again. So if you have a little bit, like this isn't completely neat, you can kind of fix it. But again, it's really not really necessary, because once the ribbon goes on, you're not going to really notice any imperfections. Now, for these center ones, I did have to go in and notch it out. So that just takes a little bit more time. It's not as slick as using the punch, but I don't see any way around it. So I just go in and then carefully go straight up. And if I have any pencil lines left, I just will erase them. But again, this isn't too concerning if you don't have it 100% perfect. Okay, so that is how I did that. I'll just go on the other side now real quick. Cut this out. I like to do the angles first and then come back and do the straight line. So you can kind of see how that works. But just keep cutting it out. Too bad the punch doesn't work for this. It would be a lot slicker. I kept thinking, is there any other alternative? And I thought, you know, it's not that bad to cut. All right, so that's it. And if I want to bring my pencil back, I can just get rid of any pencil lines on the edges. But again, it's really not too noticeable. And once you have everything else in place. So to the next step, I would suggest getting a couple, card little pieces of scraps. And this one I think is 2 1/4 by, I don't know, 5/8 or 3/4 of an inch, I don't know. And write with a pen what is on each ribbon. So I will just start this because we'll get the idea of how I did this. Okay, so to start with, I wrote a title, Ribbon Sampler 2018 to 2019. Now, one of the ribbons actually was from the Occasions catalog and did not carry over, but I'm not going to think anyone's going to be too particular, especially if this is a gift, that it isn't exactly the 2018 to 2019 catalog. Technically, it is still in 2018. It was offered, but it's not 100% accurate. Okay, so here is the ribbon I was referring to, and this was a beautiful one. This is the lemon lime twist, and it's just gorgeous, and I think someone would be thrilled to get it. So most of the samplers, they are cut at 1 yard. So what I do is just use a ruler, because I don't have a yardstick actually, and I just kind of keep wrapping it. And then I give probably at least an extra inch, because no one likes to feel like they were cheated, especially if you were going to do this as a resale thing, which Stampin' Up! Does allow for demonstrators. So the other tip I have is when you're taping it, try to tape it so it goes one direction. So don't just I add a little tape here, which I seem to have forgotten to bring along, but we will improvise, and I'll just use a little tear tape, but I would suggest using just like Scotch tape. This is really definitely overkill, but you could do this. I just think that, Scotch tape would definitely work. I just forgot to bring it along when I set up my camera and stuff. So, okay, so just wrap it around like so, and you can see with the 1/2 inch, when I added a little extra space, it definitely worked. And just keep wrapping and wrapping. A yard actually is quite a bit of ribbon, and you could make a lot of projects with this. I think it would be an awesome gift, maybe at Christmas, for your crafty friend. If you were you were friends with someone that did Stampin' Up! Or whatever. It doesn't have to be just for demonstrators. It could be definitely a nice gift idea. Now, because I don't have my Scotch tape, I'm improvising. And actually, I kind of almost like this idea because it really makes it neat. The Scotch tape kind of just is like there. So I don't know, you know, out of tight spots can come innovation, right? So that is how I do it. The next step would be to find which one I wrote, you know, for this one, which is this one. And I just set it below it. So I just am going to bring this in. Now trying to write it out, that could be a little bit hard, especially if you mess up, then you kind of are stuck. So I like just having it ready to go, and the white really does blend in and it really doesn't matter. You could also take the color of the ribbon and write it here, but I don't think that would, I think it would kind of distract. So there is my idea. I'm sure it's not completely original, but it is something I think that will be really a fun thing for someone to do, especially if you're wanting to make a gift for one of your crafty friends. So I will be continuing to add this ribbon. I've got all my tags ready, and I can just keep wrapping it. And I think I might try continue doing that tear and tape. That was actually really cool. It's kind of funny when you make a mistake, you can actually make lemonade out of lemons, right? All right, so I will bring in my original again, and I will show you how the tape looks on the back. It's actually not too pretty, huh? So I hope you give this a try. Again, this is the backing that comes with the DSP, and notching it out, I used the tailored punch. Well, I can just bring this back in too, in case you wanted some of the details again. Anyway, thank you again for watching, and I hope you give this a try. Happy stamping.